Have you ever wondered what the Bible actually says about work, money, and the economy? It's a huge topic, and honestly, sometimes it feels like the messages we hear are all over the place. One minute it's money is the root of all evil, and the next it's God wants you to be rich. So, what's the real story? Let's dive in and try to untangle this, looking at work, wealth, and that tricky little thing called greed from a Christian perspective. First up, let's talk about work. For many of us, work is just what we do to pay the bills. It's a means to an end, a way to survive. Or maybe, for some, it's about climbing the ladder, gaining status, and making a name for ourselves. But the Bible offers a much deeper, more beautiful picture of what work is meant to be. Think about the very beginning in the book of Genesis. Before sin ever entered the world, God gave Adam a job. He was tasked to work and take care of the Garden of Eden. This tells us something profound. Work isn't a punishment for sin. It's a fundamental part of God's original, perfect design for humanity. It's woven into our very purpose. Work gives us dignity. It's a way we can partner with God in cultivating and caring for His creation. Whether you're a teacher, a carpenter, an artist, a stay-at-home parent, or an accountant, your work has inherent value. It is a way to use the gifts and talents God has given you to serve others and bring order and beauty to the world. The Apostle Paul takes this idea even further. In his letter to the Colossians, he writes, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." This completely reframes our daily grind. It means that every task, no matter how small or mundane, can be an act of worship. When you're filing paperwork, cleaning a floor, or writing code, you can do it as an offering to God. This perspective transforms work from a chore into a calling. It's not just about earning a paycheck or impressing your boss. It's about honoring God with your effort, your integrity, and your excellence. This view of work as service and worship helps us find meaning even in the most challenging jobs. Now, let's move on to the big one. Money. Money is a tool, a powerful one. It can build hospitals, feed the hungry, and fund incredible ministries. It can provide for our families and give us security. The Bible doesn't say that money itself is evil. Abraham, Job, and David were all incredibly wealthy men who were also deeply faithful to God. So, the issue isn't having money. It's our attitude toward it. This is where the warnings start to come in. Jesus spoke about money more than almost any other topic, and his message was crystal clear. Be careful. In the Sermon on the Mount, he says, "You cannot serve both God and money." Notice he doesn't say you can't have both. He says you can't serve both. Money has a sneaky way of demanding our allegiance. It can easily become an idol, the thing we trust in for our security, our identity, and our happiness. When we start to believe that more money will solve all our problems, that's when we're in dangerous territory. The love of money is what the Bible identifies as a root of all kinds of evil. It's that insatiable desire for more, that anxious striving that consumes our thoughts and energy. It can lead us to compromise our values neglect our relationships, and forget our dependence on God. This is the heart of greed. Greed is a spiritual problem. It's the belief that our lives consist in the abundance of our possessions. It is a form of idolatry that puts more in the place where God should be. So, how do we handle wealth responsibly? The Bible gives us a clear roadmap, and it revolves around two key principles: generosity and justice. Let's start with generosity. The Bible is filled with commands to be generous, open-handed, and cheerful givers. We're called to care for the poor, the widow, and the orphan. This isn't just a nice suggestion. It's a core component of our faith. Generosity is the antidote to greed. When we give freely, we break the power that money has over us. We are declaring with our actions that our trust is in God, the ultimate provider, not in our bank accounts. It reorients our hearts from how much can I get to how much can I give. This act of giving reflects the very character of God, who generously gave us everything, including his own Son. And there's justice. A Christian view of the economy isn't just about individual charity. It's also about building a just and fair society. The Old Testament prophets like Amos and Isaiah were constantly calling out the wealthy and powerful for exploiting the poor. They condemned unfair business practices, unjust wages, and systems that kept people trapped in poverty. This means we have a responsibility to think about the economic systems we participate in. Are our business practices fair? Are we paying our employees a living wage? Are we supporting companies that treat their workers and the environment with respect? Pursuing economic justice is part of living out our faith. It's about loving our neighbors, not just through individual acts of kindness, but by working to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to flourish. So, let's bring it all together. What does a healthy Christian view of our economic life look like? First, we see our work as a dignified calling, a way to serve God and others, finding purpose in our daily tasks. We work with integrity and excellence, not just for a paycheck, but as an act of worship. Second, we view money as a tool, not a master. We hold it loosely, recognizing that it is a gift from God to be managed for his purposes. We are stewards, not owners. Our security comes from God, not our wealth. Third, we actively fight against the pull of greed by cultivating a lifestyle of radical generosity. We give cheerfully and sacrificially, trusting God to provide for our needs. We look for opportunities to use our resources to bless others and advance God's kingdom. And finally, we care about justice. We advocate for fair economic systems and make conscious choices as consumers and business leaders that honor the dignity of all people, especially the poor and vulnerable. Living this out isn't easy. We live in a culture that constantly tells us to get more, to climb higher, to find our worth in our net worth. It takes intentionality and a deep reliance on God's grace to swim against that current. It requires us to constantly check our hearts and ask, who or what am I truly serving? This is a journey, not a destination. It's about daily choices to align our work and our wealth with God's heart. It's about finding freedom from the anxiety of materialism and discovering the joy of living a generous, purposeful life. by embracing work as worship, managing wealth with wisdom, and championing generosity and justice, we can reflect God's kingdom in our economic lives. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gives you some helpful food for thought. If you found this valuable, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more discussions like this. See you in the next one.